The iron chains felt cold against my wrists. "Move, Omega," the guard growled, shoving me forward through the towering stone doors. My bare feet scraped against ancient marble as I entered the throne room of the Northern Pack, my prison for life. They said the Alpha King couldn't walk, that a curse had stolen his wolf, leaving him half alive, half man. The weakest king in our realm's 1,000-year history. And now he was my husband. I lifted my gaze from the floor, expecting to see a broken man. Instead, shadows cloaked the throne and two eyes, silver as moonlight, pierced through the darkness, studying me with an intensity that made my breath catch. "Leave us," his voice commanded. Powerful. Nothing like the rumors suggested. The guards hesitated. "Your Majesty, protocol demands." "Now!" The word thundered through the chamber. Every wolf in the room flinched, their beasts recognizing dominance even if their minds questioned it. They scattered like leaves in wind. Silence swallowed us whole. I stood alone before the throne, my heart hammering against my ribs. The marriage ceremony had been a blur, ancient words spoken over me while I knelt, bound and helpless. My father had sold me to secure his territory. I was nothing but a bargaining chip. "Come closer, wife." The Alpha King shifted, and I heard it, the scrape of metal against stone. Leg braces. The rumors were true then. I took 3 steps forward, close enough to see him now. He was younger than I'd imagined, perhaps 25 winters. Dark hair fell across a face carved from granite and shadow. Powerful shoulders. Hands that gripped the throne's arms with white-knuckled tension. And those eyes. Gods, those eyes seemed to see straight into my soul. "They call you the cursed Omega," he said softly. "Barren. Wolfless. Worthless." My jaw clenched. "And they call you the crippled king. Seems we're well matched." His lips curved. Not quite a smile but close. "Indeed. Tell me, Omega, do you believe in curses?" "I am one," I whispered. "No." He leaned forward, moonlight finally revealing his full face. Beautiful. Terrible. Ancient power flickered behind his features for just a heartbeat. "You're something far more dangerous." He stood, actually stood, using the throne for support, leg braces gleaming in the silver light. He took one agonizing step toward me, then another. "The wedding must be consummated," he said, now close enough that I could feel the heat radiating from his body. "But know this, little Omega, when you touch me, everything changes." His hand reached for mine. Our fingers met. The world exploded into light. Power erupted between us like lightning splitting the sky. He screamed. He roared. Our hands locked together, unable or unwilling to let go as energy poured through our connection. My knees buckled, but his other arm shot out, catching me with impossible strength. The leg braces shattered. Metal exploded outward, clattering across marble. "What's happening?" I gasped, looking up into his face. His eyes blazed pure silver now, no pupil, no iris, just raw, ancient power. "You," he breathed. His voice layered with something otherworldly. "You're waking me." He stood fully now, no tremor, no weakness. His body transformed before my eyes, shoulders broadening, muscles rippling beneath his ceremonial robes. The sickly pallor vanished, replaced by bronze skin that seemed to glow from within. Then I felt it. My wolf. The beast they'd told me was dead, sleeping forever in the depths of my soul. She stirred. After 18 years of silence, she whispered in my mind, "Mate." "No," I shook my head, trying to pull away. "This is impossible. Have no wolf." "You have no." "I have always had my wolf," he interrupted, his grip on my waist tightening. He was simply waiting. The energy between us pulsed again, stronger. Images flooded my mind. Not my memories, but his. I saw a child struck down by dark magic during his coronation. Saw priests and healers declare him cursed. Saw years of pain and weakness, of a beast locked away, screaming to be free. And beneath it all, a prophecy. Only she who shares his curse can break it. The Omega, I whispered, understanding dawning. They didn't give you a worthless bride. They gave you my equal, he finished. My catalyst. My ruin or my salvation. We'll discover which together. He released me suddenly, and the power cut off like a severed rope. I stumbled backward and he collapsed, catching himself on the throne. The braces were destroyed, but his legs trembled, barely supporting him. It fades when we part, he said through gritted teeth, sweat beading on his forehead. I have perhaps an hour before I return to how I was. How long have you known? I demanded. I didn't. Not until tonight. Not until you. He looked at me with something between wonder and fear. The ancient texts spoke of catalyst mates, pairs whose bond could unlock dormant power. I thought it legend. Myth. What does this mean? He pulled himself upright, shoulders back despite the obvious pain. It means you're no longer worthless, little Omega. You're the most valuable piece on the board. And every wolf in this realm will want you dead. A sound echoed from beyond the throne room doors. A step. Many footsteps. The Alpha King's expression hardened. They heard. They'll have questions. What do we tell them? Nothing. He moved toward me with renewed determination, grabbing my hand again. Power flared, and he stood tall once more. We tell them nothing and trust no one. Do you understand? I nodded, even as my heart raced. The doors burst open. The Beta entered first, a mountain of a man with scars crisscrossing his face like a battle map. Marcus, the Alpha King's closest friend since childhood, or so the servants whispered. His amber eyes swept the room, taking in the shattered leg braces, the crackling energy still visible in the air, and his king standing tall without support. Explain, Marcus demanded, his hand moving to the sword at his hip. Stand down, Beta, my husband commanded. The power in his voice made even Marcus hesitate. Kieran. The Beta used the king's name like a weapon. You're standing. Without the braces. Without. His gaze cut to me, sharp as a blade. What did she do to you? She did nothing. Witchcraft, then. Dark magic. Marcus moved closer, circling me like a predator. The Omega from the Shadow Territories arrives, and suddenly our cursed king can walk? This reeks of deception. I kept my mouth shut, remembering Kieran's warning. Trust no one. Careful, Marcus, Kieran said softly, dangerously. You speak of my mate. My queen. Your queen. Marcus laughed bitterly. You married her hours ago out of political necessity. Now you defend her like... He stopped, eyes widening. The bond. Gods above, you feel the mate bond. Silence stretched between them. How is that possible? Marcus whispered. You've never felt the bond with anyone. The curse prevented. Perhaps the curse wasn't what we thought, Kieran interrupted. Perhaps it was protection. A safeguard until the right mate arrived. Or perhaps, a new voice slithered from the shadows. She's the curse made flesh. A woman emerged from behind the pillars. Beautiful, deadly, dressed in the crimson robes of the High Priestess. Lady Morgana. I recognized her from the wedding ceremony. High Priestess, Kieran acknowledged, though his hand found mine, gripping tight. Power hummed between us. Morgana's eyes fixed on our joined hands. How fascinating. The Omega Catalyst theory was just that. A theory. An ancient legend scholars dismissed as fantasy. You know of this? Marcus demanded. I know many things, Beta. Morgana glided closer, her movements serpentine. I know that such bonds are unstable, dangerous. History tells us that every catalyst pair met tragic ends. Assassination, madness, or their combined power literally tearing them apart. My blood ran cold. I also know, she continued, that our enemies will sense this shift in power. The Southern Pack, the Eastern Coalition, they've circled like vultures, waiting for our king to finally fall. This changes everything. Then we keep it secret, Marcus said. Too late. Morgana smiled, and it didn't reach her eyes. Half the palace heard the energy pulse, felt it in their bones. By dawn, every pack within 100 miles will know something has changed. Kieran's jaw clenched. Then we control the narrative. We. Morgana's eyebrow arched. You trust me, Your Majesty. No, he said bluntly. But you've served this throne for 20 years. You kept me alive when the curse first struck. I have to trust someone. How touching. She turned to me then, really looking at me for the first time. Tell me, Omega, can you fight? I what? Can. Fight. She enunciated each word. Because when they come for you, and they will come, standing behind your mate won't save you. I can learn, I said, lifting my chin. You have 3 days, Morgana declared. In 3 days, the Grand Council convenes. Every alpha from every territory will attend. They'll see their king standing strong, and they'll demand to know how. Her smile turned sharp. And then, little Omega, they'll test whether you're his salvation or his doom. She swept from the room, leaving us in stunned silence. Marcus looked between us. 3 days isn't enough time. It has to be, Kieran said. The beta stepped closer, his expression softening slightly. If this is real, if you've truly found your mate, I'll protect you both. With my life. Thank you, old friend. Marcus nodded and left, his footsteps echoing. Alone again, I turned to Kieran. What happens in 3 days? The trial of worthiness, he said grimly. The council will force you to prove you're fit to be Luna Queen. And if I fail? His silver eyes met mine, and I saw the truth in them before he spoke. Then they'll execute you for witchcraft, and I'll return to being the crippled king, powerless to stop them. You died in the attack 10 years ago, Kieran said, moving to shield me. I mourned you. You replaced me, Lyra snarled. I was father's chosen heir. I was to be crowned Alpha Queen. But then the curse struck during your coronation, and suddenly poor, broken Kieran needed the throne to survive. Her eyes blazed with hatred. They left me to die in the ruins while they saved you. That's not what happened. Silence. Power rolled off her in waves. She was an alpha in her own right. I survived. Barely. I spent a decade in exile, building my strength, waiting for the right moment to take back what's mine. So you come now. I found my voice despite my terror. When your brother has finally found his mate. Lyra's gaze cut to me. Oh, I know exactly what you are, Omega. That's precisely why I'm here. Kill her, she commanded the assassins. And my brother returns to being the crippled king. The council will have no choice but to remove him. The assassins moved. Kieran roared, and the sound shook dust from ancient shelves. Our hands clasped together, and power exploded through the library. Books flew from shelves. Crystals blazed white-hot. His transformation was instantaneous, full alpha strength returning in a heartbeat. He met the first assassin's blade with his bare hands, catching steel between his palms. With a twist, he shattered the weapon and sent the attacker flying into a bookshelf. The second lunged for me. Instinct I didn't know I possessed took over. My body moved, ducking under the blade, my hand shooting out to grab the assassin's wrist. When I touched him, something happened. Energy pulsed from me into him, and he screamed, convulsing before collapsing. I stared at my hands in shock. You can channel it, Kieran breathed. You can use our power independently. How touching, Lyra drawled. But you forget, I know all the old ways. I know how to break a catalyst bond. She pulled a vial from her belt, the liquid inside glowing sickly green. Nightshade and wolfsbane, blessed by dark priests. 1 drop on either of you and the bond shatters. You'll both die screaming. The third assassin recovered and grabbed me from behind, his blade at my throat. Let her go, Lyra, Kieran warned, his voice dropping to something inhuman. Whatever I did to you, whatever you think I did, she's innocent. No one in this palace is innocent. Lyra uncorked the vial. But before she could move, the beta's voice thundered through the chamber. Stand down. Marcus emerged from a hidden passage, a dozen royal guards behind him. His sword was drawn, pointed at Lyra's heart. Princess Lyra, he said formally. You're under arrest for treason and attempted regicide. Marcus. Lyra smiled. You always were loyal to a fault. But tell me, are you loyal to the throne or to the man sitting on it? Both, Marcus growled. Then you're a fool. Lyra hurled the vial at me. Everything slowed. I watched the glass spinning through air, death contained in those few drops. Kieran lunged, but he was too far. The assassin held me firm. Then Marcus moved, faster than any wolf I'd ever seen. He intercepted the vial mid-air, catching it in his bare hand. The glass shattered. Green liquid splashed across his palm. He screamed. The sound was agony made audible. Marcus dropped to his knees. His flesh where the poison touched burning, blackening, spreading up his arm like rot. Marcus! Kieran roared. I didn't think. I tore free from the assassin's grip, my newfound strength surprising even me, and lunged for the beta. My hands found his burning arm, and I pushed, channeling the energy that flowed between Kieran and me. Silver light erupted from my palms. The corruption stopped, reversed, clean flesh replacing the rot, spreading back down his arm until no trace of the poison remained. Collapsed, gasping. The library fell silent. Lyra stared at me, eyes wide. Impossible. Catalyst pairs can't heal others. They can only strengthen each other. Apparently, Marcus said hoarsely, flexing his restored hand. No one told her that. Kieran pulled me to my feet. His expression a mixture of awe and concern. To the guards, he commanded. Take the princess to the dungeons. The assassins, too. You can't hold me forever, brother, Lyra hissed as they dragged her away. I'll escape. And next time I won't be alone. When they were gone, Marcus turned to us. She's right. This changes nothing. You've made an enemy of someone with royal blood and nothing to lose. I know, Kieran said quietly. And the council, they'll use this. They'll say you're too weak to protect even your own mate. Marcus looked at me with new respect. Though after what I just witnessed, I'd say you're anything but weak, my Luna. I don't understand what I did, I admitted. Neither do I, Kieran said. But we'll figure it out. We have 2 days until the council meets. 2 days to turn an Omega into a warrior, Marcus said grimly. I'll train her myself. Meet me in the courtyard at dawn. He left, and we were alone among the scattered books and shattered crystals. You saved his life, Kieran said softly. He saved mine first. He pulled me close, and for the first time I let myself lean into him. My husband, me, my salvation or my doom, we still didn't know which. I'm scared, I whispered against his chest. Good, he murmured into my hair. Fear keeps you sharp. Dawn broke cold and merciless. I stood in the training courtyard, every muscle screaming from the night's events. Marcus circled me like a predator studying prey. You've never held a sword, he observed. No, never trained in combat. Omegas aren't taught to fight. We're taught to submit. His expression darkened. That ends today. The council will demand a demonstration. They'll want to see if you're truly worthy of being Luna Queen, or if you're just some witch who ensnared their king. He tossed me a practice sword. Show me what you've got. Caught it awkwardly. The weapon felt wrong in my hands. Too heavy, unbalanced. Marcus attacked. I barely raised the blade in time. Steel rang against steel, and the impact sent shocks up my arms. He pressed forward and I stumbled back, desperately parrying strikes I couldn't predict. Pathetic, he grunted, disarming me with a quick twist. My sword clattered to the stones. Again. We repeated the exercise. Again. And again. Each time, I lasted slightly longer before he disarmed me. Your body knows what to do, Marcus said after the 10th round. You're thinking too much. Let your wolf guide you. My wolf was silent for 18 years, I panted. She doesn't know how to fight either. Then learn together. Kieran appeared at the courtyard entrance, watching. Even from this distance, I felt our connection, a golden thread tying us together. His presence gave me strength. Stop relying on the bond, Marcus snapped, noticing my distraction. In battle, you might be separated from your mate. What then? He was right. I couldn't depend on Kieran's power alone. I retrieved my sword and centered myself, closed my eyes, reached deep inside where my wolf stirred. Help me, I begged her. She responded with a growl that vibrated through my bones. When I opened my eyes, Marcus was attacking again. But this time my body moved on instinct. I dodged left, parried right, actually forcing him back a step. Better, he acknowledged. We trained until the sun climbed high. My hands blistered and bled. My arms felt like lead. But something was awakening inside me. Not just my wolf, but a warrior I didn't know existed. Enough, Marcus finally called. You'll hurt yourself. One more round, I insisted. He smiled, a real smile this time. You've got spirit. I'll give you that. Kieran approached, offering me water. When our fingers brushed, warmth spread through my aching muscles, healing the worst of the damage. She's a natural, Marcus told him. Raw, untrained, but the instincts are there. Give me another day, and I can make her dangerous. We have less than that, Kieran reminded him. The council convenes at sunset tomorrow. A servant rushed into the courtyard, breathless. Your Majesty, the southern pack has arrived early. Alpha Darius demands an immediate audience. Kieran's expression hardened. Darius, of course. Who is he? Asked. The strongest alpha in the realm besides myself, or what I used to be. Kieran's jaw clenched. He's been pushing for my abdication for years. If he senses weakness now, then we don't give him the chance, Marcus said. Let him see his king standing strong with his mate at his side. We had no time to prepare. Minutes later, I stood in the throne room, hastily changed into formal robes. My hands still bore traces of blood from training. I hoped it looked regal rather than desperate. The doors opened. Alpha Darius entered like a storm-given flesh. He was massive, taller even than Kieran, with silver hair despite appearing only 40 winters old. His pack followed, a dozen warriors, each radiating lethal competence. But it was the woman at his side who made my blood freeze. Lady Morgana, the High Priestess. She caught my eye and smiled. Your Majesty, Darius boomed, his voice filling the chamber. Forgive my early arrival, but troubling rumors reached my territory. They say the curse has lifted. That the crippled king can walk. His eyes cut to me. And that an Omega from the Shadow Territories is responsible. Kieran stood from his throne. Stood without assistance, without hesitation. The rumors are true, Alpha Darius. I present my mate and Luna Queen, Arya of the Northern Pack. Interesting. Darius moved closer, studying us both. I've heard legends of catalyst mates. Most end in tragedy. We're aware of the risks, Kieran said coolly. Are you? Darius glanced at Morgana, and something passed between them, a look I couldn't decipher. Tell me, Your Majesty, what happens if your precious Omega dies? Do you die with her? Does the curse return? His smile was predatory. Such a convenient weakness for your enemies to exploit. Is that a threat, Alpha? Kieran's power filled the room, pressing down on everyone present. His eyes blazed silver. A concern, Darius replied smoothly, seemingly unaffected by the pressure. As a member of the Grand Council, it's my duty to ensure our realm's stability. If the Northern Pack's strength relies solely on this one girl. He turned that predatory smile on me. Well, that's quite precarious, isn't it? The Luna Queen is stronger than she appears, Marcus interjected, stepping forward. Then let her prove it. Darius spread his hands. Tomorrow's trial will reveal the truth. If she's truly worthy of standing beside our king, she'll survive. If not, he shrugged. The council will make the appropriate decision. The trial was meant to be ceremonial, Kieran growled. Plans change. Darius moved toward the exit, his pack following. At the threshold he paused. Oh, and your majesty. I brought someone who's been eager to meet your new bride. A figure emerged from the shadows behind Darius's warriors. A young man with cruel eyes and a smile that made my skin crawl. Hello, sister, he said. My brother. The one who'd helped my father sell me to the northern pack. The one who'd whispered in my ear the night before my wedding. I hope he breaks you. Cain, I breathed, my voice barely audible. Surprised. He laughed. I'm Alpha Darius's second now. Climbed quite high since father died. His smile widened. Oh, you didn't know. Father's dead. Throat torn out 2 weeks ago. Such a tragedy. You killed him, I whispered, horror dawning. Can't prove that. Cain's eyes glittered with malice. But I did inherit his territory. And his seat on the council. Which means tomorrow, dear sister, I get to vote on whether you live or die. He left with Darius, and I felt my knees give out. Kieran caught me before I fell. I'm sorry, he murmured. I didn't know your brother was. He'll vote to execute me, I said numbly. He's always hated me for being Omega, for being weak. And now he has the power to end me. Not if you pass the trial, Marcus said firmly. What is the trial? I demanded. Tell me the truth. Kieran and Marcus exchanged looks. Combat, Kieran finally said. You must face 3 challengers chosen by the council. Defeat them, and you're recognized as Luna Queen. Fail. And I die, I finished. He nodded grimly. I thought of my brother's hatred, Darius's predatory smile, Lyra's promise of revenge. Tomorrow, I would face warriors who'd trained their entire lives to kill. And I'd had exactly 1 day of training. I can't do this, I whispered. Kieran tilted my chin up, his silver eyes boring into mine. Yes, you can. Because you're not just fighting for yourself anymore. You're fighting for both of us. For our bond. For our future. His thumb brushed my cheek. And I believe in you, Arya. My queen. My everything. His words ignited something in my chest. A fire I didn't know I possessed. Then teach me, I said, my voice steady now. We have until sunset tomorrow. Teach me how to survive. Marcus grinned. Now that's the spirit of a Luna. We trained through the night. Swords hand-to-hand combat strategy. My body screamed. My hands bled. But I didn't stop. Because tomorrow I would either become a queen or die trying. The arena was ancient, carved from black stone by wolves long dead. I stood at its center while thousands watched from the stands. Every alpha, every pack representative, every member of the council. They'd come to see the Omega fail. Kieran sat on the throne at the arena's edge, his expression carved from ice. But through our bond I felt his fear, his rage, his desperate hope. Beside him, Alpha Darius lounged casually. My brother Cain smirked. Lady Morgana stood to announce the trial. The Luna Queen must prove her worth through combat. Her voice echoed across the arena. She will face 3 challengers. Defeat them all, and the council recognizes her right to rule. Fail and she dies, Cain finished, grinning. We all know the rules, priestess. Let's get on with it. Morgana shot him a look but continued. The first challenger. A gate opened. A wolf emerged. Not a shifted werewolf, but a man with deadly intent. He was smaller than Marcus but moved like liquid violence. Scars covered his arms. Razor. Marcus had warned me about this one. Fast. Precise. Aims for arteries. We circled each other. The crowd roared. He struck without warning, a blur of motion. I barely dodged, his blade kissing my ribs, drawing blood. Pain flared, but I pushed it down. "Let me help," my wolf growled. I released control and she surged forward. My movements became fluid, instinctive. When Razor lunged again, I didn't dodge. I stepped inside. His guard, too close for his sword. My fist connected with his solar plexus. He gasped, stumbling back. I followed, pressing my advantage. My blade danced, forcing him defensive. Marcus's training took over. High slash, low sweep, feint left, strike right. Razor's sword clattered to the ground. My blade found his throat. "Yield," I commanded. He did. The crowd erupted, half in cheers, half in outrage. "First challenger defeated," Morgana announced. I was barely given time to catch my breath before the second gate opened. 2 warriors emerged. "What? Breathe. That's not. The rules say 3 challengers," Darius called out, his voice carrying across the arena. "They don't specify they can't come at once." Kieran shot to his feet. "This is within the letter of the law, Your Majesty," Darius smiled. "Unless you wish to declare the trial invalid, that would require the Omega to start over tomorrow, after she's had a chance to bleed a bit more." Kieran's hands clenched the thrown arms, but he sat back down. Through the bond I felt his fury. The 2 warriors circled me like wolves with cornered prey. Both were massive, twins apparently. They moved in perfect synchronization, attacking from opposite sides. I couldn't track both. One blade sliced my shoulder while I blocked the other. Blood flowed warm down my arm. "We're going to die," I thought. "No," my wolf snarled. "We're going to win." I stopped trying to track them separately. Instead, I felt their movements, the shift of air, the subtle sounds of footsteps. I let my instincts guide me. When they attacked again, I dropped low, rolling between them. Their blades collided where I'd been standing, and in that moment of confusion, I struck. My sword took the first twin in the back of the knee. He collapsed with a scream. The second came at me in a rage, abandoning strategy. Big mistake. I sidestepped and used his momentum against him, sending him crashing into the arena wall. Both down. The crowd's roar was deafening. But I felt it through the bond, Kieran's warning. The third challenger was going to be the worst. The final gate opened. Cain walked out, dual daggers in his hands. "Surprise, sister," he called out cheerfully. The council voted. Seems everyone wants to see if blood really is thicker than water. "Cain, don't do this," I pleaded. "Why not? You were always father's favorite. The precious Omega who could do no wrong. Even when you were useless, even when your wolf wouldn't wake, he kept you alive, fed you, protected you." His expression twisted into hatred. "And now look at you, playing at being queen. It's insulting." He attacked. My brother was good, better than the others. He knew how I moved, how I thought. We'd grown up together. Every feint I made, he anticipated. Every strike he delivered, I barely blocked. We danced across blood-stained stone, blades singing. "You can't win," he panted. "You know that, right? Even if you beat me, they'll find another excuse to remove you. You're just an Omega. You'll always be worthless." His words struck deeper than his daggers. No, Kieran's voice filled my mind through the bond. "You're my queen, my equal, my everything. Don't listen to him." Power surged through our connection. Not just Kieran's strength, but his belief, his faith in me. I stopped defending, stopped retreating. I attacked. Cain's eyes widened as I came at him with renewed fury. My blade moved faster than thought, cutting, slashing, driving him back step by step. "How?" he gasped. "Because I'm not alone," I said. "I never will be again." His foot caught on one of the fallen twins. He stumbled. My blade found his throat. "Yield," I commanded. For a moment, I saw true fear in his eyes. Then he dropped his daggers. "I yield," he whispered. The arena exploded. The sound was overwhelming. Cheers, jeers, howls of approval and disapproval all blending together. I stood alone at the center, covered in blood and sweat, my chest heaving. Morgana's voice cut through the chaos. The Omega has defeated all 3 challengers. By ancient law, the Council must recognize. I invoke the right of replacement. Darius's voice thundered across the arena. Silence fell. What? Kieran's voice was dangerous. The ancient law also states that if a council member believes the trial was insufficient, they may challenge the candidate themselves. Darius stood, removing his formal robes to reveal combat leathers beneath. I believe the challenges were too easy. I will test the Omega's worth myself. You can't, Marcus protested. She's already fought 3 opponents. She's exhausted, injured. The law is clear, Morgana said quietly, and I saw something in her eyes. Apology. Or had this been her plan all along? Darius descended into the arena. Every step he took radiated power. He was the strongest alpha in the realm for a reason. And I could barely lift my sword. Kieran stood, and I felt his intention through the bond. He was going to forfeit to stop this. No, I said to him. If you forfeit, they'll say I'm weak. That we're weak. This is exactly what Darius wants. You'll die, Kieran sent back, his mental voice anguished. Then I die as a queen, not as a coward. Darius smiled at me, and it was the smile of a predator who knew he'd won. Shall we begin, little Omega? Darius moved like a nightmare given form. His first strike shattered my guard and sent me sprawling across stone. I tasted blood. My ribs screamed where his fist had connected. Get up, he commanded. If you're going to die, die fighting. I forced myself to my feet. Every muscle protested. The cuts from earlier fights burned. But I raised my blade. He was on me instantly. His speed defied his size. I blocked 1 strike, 2, 3. Then his foot swept my legs out from under me. I hit the ground hard. The crowd roared. I heard my brother's laughter above the rest. Stay down, Darius advised. Accept defeat with dignity. Through the bond I felt Kieran's agony. His desperation. He would break if I died. The prophecy had been clear. Kill one and both would fall. I'm sorry, I said to him. I'm not strong enough. Yes, you are, his voice came back fierce. But not alone. Open the bond. Completely. Me in. That will leave you vulnerable. I don't care. Do it. I stopped fighting the connection. Stopped holding back. The bond exploded open like a dam bursting. Power flooded through me. Not just Kieran's strength, but his memories, his skills, his lifetime of training. I felt his wolf merging with mine. We became something new. Something more. When I stood this time, silver light wreathed my body. Darius's eyes widened. What? I attacked. My movements were no longer those of a novice. I fought with Kieran's experience, centuries of alpha knowledge flowing through me. Darius blocked, but barely. I pressed forward, driving him back across the arena. Impossible, he breathed. You wanted to see if I was worthy, I said, my voice layered with Kieran's. Watch closely. We clashed in a blur of motion. Steel sang. Stone cracked beneath our feet. The power building between us made the air itself shimmer. But even with Kieran's strength, Darius was still stronger. His blade found my shoulder, cutting deep. Gasped, stumbling. Impressive, Darius acknowledged. But insufficient. He raised his blade for the killing blow. Then Kieran's roar shook the arena. I felt him coming before I saw him. Felt the moment he leaped from the throne and shifted mid-air. His wolf form crashed into the arena. Massive, silver, magnificent. The curse was truly gone. No one touches my mate. His voice thundered in our minds. Darius barely had time to turn before Kieran was on him. They collided with earth-shaking force. 2 alphas battling for dominance. Your Majesty. Marcus was suddenly beside me, helping me up. You need to stop him. If he kills a council member, he'll lose the throne, I finished. I know. But Kieran was beyond reason. His wolf had taken over, driven by instinct to protect his mate. Darius shifted as well, and two massive wolves tore at each other with lethal intent. Blood splattered the stones. I reached through the bond. Kieran, up. He didn't hear me. The fury was too great. I did the only thing I could think of. I pushed our bond to its absolute limit, channeling not just power but emotion, love, trust, hope. Everything I felt for this man who'd become my world in just days. Please, I begged. Come back to me. His wolf paused. Those silver eyes found mine across the arena. I can't lose you, he sent back. You won't. But I need you. The real you. Not the beast. Slowly, painfully, he shifted back to human form. Darius did the same, both standing bloodied and panting. Enough! Lady Morgana's voice cut through the tension. This trial has devolved into chaos. The council will vote immediately. Vote! I demanded. I won. I defeated all challengers, including Darius. You didn't defeat me, Darius corrected. We were interrupted. By the king protecting his mate, Marcus argued. Which is his right. It's also against the rules of trial by combat, Cain interjected smugly. Outside interference disqualifies the candidate. My heart sank. The council will vote, Morgana repeated firmly. All in favor of accepting Arya as Luna Queen. Marcus's hand shot up immediately. 3 other council members followed. Minor alphas who'd been watching cautiously. All opposed. Darius's hand rose. Then Cain's. 3 others. 7-5. We'd won. The vote is clear, Morgana announced. By council law, Arya is recognized as. I invoke elder privilege, a new voice called out. Everyone turned. An ancient woman emerged from the highest seats. I'd never seen her before, but the way every council member, including Darius, bowed told me everything. Elder Nyx, Morgana breathed. We didn't know you were in attendance. I came to observe, the old woman said, her voice surprisingly strong. And what I observed was enlightening. She fixed me with eyes that had seen centuries pass. The girl shows promise. But the king's interference cannot be ignored. Elder, please, Kieran began. She held up a hand. However, I also observed Alpha Darius invoke an optional challenge after the mandatory 3 were completed. That too bends the rules. She smiled, showing teeth. So I propose a compromise. The girl is Luna Queen. But on probation. In 1 moon's time she must complete 1 more trial. Of my choosing. Succeed and her position is permanent. Fail. And she's stripped of her title and exiled, Darius finished, grinning. I accept these terms. As do I, Cain added quickly. Kieran looked at me, the question in his eyes. He nodded. We had no choice. Then it's settled, Elder Nyx declared. In 1 moon's time we reconvene. Until then, welcome Luna Queen Arya to your probationary reign. The crowd erupted in mixed reactions. Later, in our chambers, Kieran held me while healers tended my wounds. 1 month, he said quietly. What will she make you do? I don't know. But we'll face it together. Always together, he agreed. But as I drifted toward sleep, I heard footsteps outside our door. Whispers in the dark. The taste of conspiracy hung heavy in the air. They'd given me a crown. Now they'd spend the next month plotting how to take it away. 3 weeks passed in uneasy peace. I trained every day with Marcus, studied pack law with Morgana, learned to navigate the political minefield of council politics. And every night I fell asleep in Kieran's arms, our bond growing stronger with each passing day. But the peace was an illusion. Someone poisoned the water supply, Marcus reported, bursting into the war room. 3 servants are dead. 5 more critical. The same poison Lyra used. Kieran demanded. No, this is something new. Something that specifically targets those with weak wolf bonds. Servants, Omegas, the elderly. Felt cold. They're testing. seeing if they can find a poison that works on me without affecting Kieran. That's my assessment as well, Marcus agreed grimly. Kieran slammed his fist on the table. Where is Lyra now? Still in the dungeons. Under constant guard. Marcus hesitated. But we've had 3 escape attempts this month. Someone's trying to free her. Darius, I said. Or my brother. We can't prove it, Kieran said. And accusing a council member without evidence would give them exactly what they want. An excuse to declare me unfit to rule. Then we find evidence, I said. We stop reacting and start hunting. That night I couldn't sleep. Something felt wrong, a prickling at the base of my skull. Through the bond, I felt Kieran sleeping peacefully beside me. I slipped from our bed and wandered the palace halls. Guards nodded as I passed, but I barely noticed them. My feet carried me to the old library. The forbidden place where Lyra had attacked us. I hadn't been back since. The door was ajar. Drawing a dagger from my belt, I pushed it open slowly. Moonlight streamed through high windows, illuminating. Lady Morgana bent over a book, muttering to herself. High Priestess, I said carefully. She jumped, spinning around. For just a moment, I saw something in her eyes. Guilt. Fear. Luna Queen, she said smoothly. What brings you here at this hour? I could ask you the same thing. Research. She closed the book quickly. Too quickly. For your upcoming trial. Elder Nyx tasked me with designing something appropriate. I moved closer. What will the trial be? I can't say. It would give you an unfair advantage. Or ensure I can't prepare. I held her gaze. You've been helping us from the start. Teaching me, guiding Kieran. But sometimes I wonder whose side you're really on. Careful, girl, Morgana warned. You're still learning the game. Don't make accusations you can't prove. I'm not accusing. I'm observing. I gestured to the book she'd hidden. What were you reading? Nothing that concerns you. Everything in this library concerns me. My life depends on information. I reached for the book. Morgana's hand shot out, grabbing my wrist. Don't. Power crackled between us. Not the warm energy of the bond, but something darker. Colder. You're not just a priestess, I breathed. You're a witch. We're all witches, dear. The question is what kind. She released me. But yes, I have abilities beyond normal pack magic. Abilities I've kept hidden for 20 years. Why tell me now? Because in 1 week, your trial will require you to face something no catalyst mate has ever survived. Her expression softened slightly. And I'm trying to give you a fighting chance. By researching dark magic. By researching old magic. There's a difference. She opened the book again, showing me pages covered in symbols that made my eyes hurt to look at. Elder Nyx has chosen a trial from the first age. You'll be sent into the Shadow Realm. My blood froze. That's impossible. The Shadow Realm hasn't been accessible for 1,000 years. The barriers can be lowered. For a price. Morgana's finger traced one of the symbols. You'll be sent in alone. Kieran cannot follow. The bond will be stretched across dimensions, and the pain will be unimaginable. What do I have to do in the Shadow Realm? Survive until dawn. Just survive. She looked at me with something like pity. But the Shadow Realm feeds on fear, doubt, and despair. It will take your worst nightmares and make them real. Most who enter never come back sane. Why would Elder Nyx choose this? Because she's testing whether you're strong enough to rule. A Luna Queen must face more than physical threats. She must have unbreakable will. Morgana closed the book. I'm telling you this because I've grown fond of you both. Despite my better judgment. Who are you really? Asked. Someone who's played both sides for longer than you've been alive, she admitted. I helped curse Kieran as a child. I also helped keep him alive through it. I've advised the council while secretly feeding information to your mate. I'm neither friend nor enemy, girl. I'm a survivor. Then help me survive this. She studied me for a long moment. There's one way, but it requires something forbidden. Something that could destroy you both. Tell me. You must sever the bond temporarily before entering the shadow realm. Protect Kieran from experiencing what you'll face. Then when you return, reforge it. Breaking the bond could kill us both, I whispered. So could the trial. Choose your risk. She pulled a vial from her robes. The liquid inside shimmered like starlight. This will sever the bond cleanly, painlessly. But you'll be truly alone in the shadow realm. No strength from your mate. No comfort. Just you against the darkness. I stared at the vial. Everything in me screamed to refuse. Footsteps echoed in the corridor outside. Heavy boots. Many of them. Hide, Morgana hissed. I ducked behind a bookshelf as the library doors burst open. Darius strode in, my brother at his side. Well, Darius demanded. Have you prepared everything? Yes, Morgana said smoothly. The ritual will be ready in 7 days. Good. Once the Omega enters the shadow realm, we kill the king while his bond is stretched thin. With both of them dead, the council can elect a new ruler. My heart stopped. That wasn't our agreement, Morgana said carefully. Plans change, witch. Darius moved closer to her. You've played your part well. But once this is done, your services will no longer be needed. Consider this your notice. You would dispose of me so easily. Yes, Cain grinned. Father always said never trust a witch who serves 2 masters. And you, Morgana, serve only yourself. Then perhaps, she said softly, you should have been more careful with your words. Power exploded from her hands. Darius and Cain flew backward, slamming into the walls. Before they could recover, she gestured, and shadows wrapped around them like living ropes. Run! She shouted at me. Warn Kieran. The trial is a trap. Ran. Behind me I heard Darius roar. Heard the sound of magic clashing against brute strength. But I didn't look back. I burst into our chambers. Kieran, wake up. He was already moving, sensing my panic through the bond. What happened? I told him everything in a rush. Morgana's revelation, the shadow realm, Darius's plan. They're going to kill you during my trial, I finished. While I'm in the shadow realm, you'll be vulnerable. Kieran's expression turned to ice. Then we don't let you go in. If I refuse the trial, the council can exile me. Or execute me for cowardice. I grabbed his hands. We have to find another way. Marcus burst in, sword drawn. The palace is under attack. Darius has activated his loyalists. They're trying to take the throne room. How many? Kieran demanded. At least 50. Maybe more. Marcus looked between us. They planned this. The trial was just the distraction. It's a coup, I breathed. They were never going to wait 7 days. Kieran's eyes blazed silver. Then we end this tonight. Marcus, gather our loyalists. Anyone still loyal to the crown. We make our stand in the throne room. That's what they expect, I said. They'll have it surrounded. Then what do you suggest? I thought of the old library. The ancient texts. The forbidden knowledge. We use the shadow realm, I said. Not as a trap, but as a weapon. They both stared at me. Morgana can open the barrier early. We send Darius's forces through instead of me. Let the shadow realm feed on their hatred and fear. That's dark magic, Marcus warned. The council is trying to murder us, I snapped. We're past worrying about rules. Kieran studied me, and I felt his hesitation through the bond. But also his trust. Do it, he said. We fought our way back to the old library. Darius's forces filled the corridors, but with Kieran and Marcus at my side, we were unstoppable. The bond between Kieran and me made us move as one, anticipating each other's attacks. Morgana was still there, bleeding from a cut on her forehead, but alive. Can you open the shadow realm barrier? I demanded. Yes, but it requires a blood sacrifice. Use mine, I said, offering my hand. You don't understand. It requires death. Someone must die to open the door. Silence fell. Then a voice from the shadows. Use me. Lyra emerged from a hidden passage. She looked terrible, thin, pale, haunted, but alive. Sister, Kieran breathed. Brother. She smiled sadly. I heard everything from my cell. Darius promised me revenge, but all he wanted was to use me. I was a fool. Lyra, you don't have to. Yes, I do. I tried to kill your mate. I betrayed everything our family stood for. She looked at me. But I can make it right. I can save the kingdom. There has to be another way, I said. There isn't. Lyra pulled a dagger from her belt. Morgana, tell me what to do. The priestess explained the ritual. It was horrible. Necessary. And Lyra accepted it without hesitation. I'm sorry, she whispered to Kieran. For everything. I forgive you, he said, tears streaming down his face. She smiled, truly smiled, for the first time since I'd met her. Then she drove the dagger into her own heart. Power exploded through the library. The air tore open, revealing swirling darkness beyond, the shadow realm. Now! Morgana shouted. We drove Darius's forces backward, toward the portal. They realized too late what was happening. The darkness reached out with hungry tendrils, pulling them in. Their screams echoed as the shadow realm claimed them. Darius himself fought to the end. But even his strength couldn't resist the portal's pull. This isn't over, he roared as the darkness swallowed him. Cain tried to run. Marcus caught him and threw him through. My brother's final scream was cut short as the portal sealed. Silence. We'd won. But the cost. Kieran knelt beside his sister's body, and I held him while he wept. The funeral was held 3 days later. Princess Lyra was honored as a hero who'd sacrificed herself to save the kingdom. The truth of her redemption spread through every pack in the realm. The council reconvened with new members. Alpha Darius and my brother were declared traitors, their territories redistributed. Elder Nyx herself presided over the meeting. The trial by shadow has concluded, she announced. Arya of the Northern Pack proved her worth not through combat, but through wisdom and sacrifice. I declare her probation ended. She is Luna Queen now and forever. No one objected. That night we held a true coronation. Not the rushed political ceremony from before, but a celebration of everything we'd survived. I stood before the throne, Kieran at my side. Lady Morgana placed the Luna Queen's crown upon my head, ancient silver, inscribed with runes of protection. You are the first catalyst pair to survive your awakening, Morgana said softly, for only us to hear. The first to rule together rather than burn together. You've rewritten fate itself. We had help, I reminded her. She smiled. And you'll continue to need it. The threats haven't ended. But you've proven you can face them. She bowed, a true bow of respect. My queen. The celebration lasted until dawn. Pack members from across the realm came to pledge loyalty. The palace, once so cold and empty, filled with life and laughter. Marcus found me on the balcony as the sun rose. Can't sleep, he asked. Too much to think about. I gestured to the view. Forests and mountains stretching to the horizon. A month ago I was nothing. Now I'm responsible for all of this. You were never nothing, Marcus corrected. You just hadn't awakened yet. He leaned against the railing. Kieran told me he wants me to become first general. Oversee training for all packs. That's wonderful. It means I'll be gone often. Traveling between territories. He met my eyes. Are you two going to be all right without me hovering over you constantly? I think we'll manage, I said with a smile. Kieran joined us, slipping an arm around my waist. The bond hummed contentedly between us. No longer the explosive force from our first touch, but a steady warmth. Comfortable. But the council wants us to tour the realm, he said. Show ourselves to every pack. Prove the curse is broken. When do we leave? Whenever you're ready. This is your kingdom now too. He kissed my temple. Where you go, I go. And where you go, I go, I echoed. Marcus excused himself, leaving us alone with the sunrise. Do you ever regret it? Kieran asked quietly. Being forced into this marriage. Into this life. I thought about the chain around my wrists on that first night. About the fear and despair. About how much had changed since then. No, I said honestly. I regret the pain we endured. The people we lost. But you. I turned to face him fully. Never. I was so angry when they forced this marriage, he admitted. I thought it was another attempt to control me. To exploit my weakness. He cupped my face in his hands. I didn't know they were giving me everything I'd ever needed. Your mate. My equal, he corrected. My partner. My queen. We kissed as the sun cleared the mountains, bathing the kingdom in golden light. What do you think happens now? He asked. We've survived the curse, the trials, the coup. What comes next? Life, Kieran said simply. We build a better realm. We change the laws that oppress Omegas. We prove strength comes from partnership, not domination. He smiled. We show them a new way. That's going to make enemies. We've already got plenty of those. He pulled me closer. Let them come. As long as we stand together, we're unstoppable. The bond flared in agreement, wrapping us both in silver light. Below in the courtyard I heard the pack gathering. Voices raised in celebration. The kingdom was healing slowly but surely. Ready to face the world, Luna Queen? Kieran asked. I took his hand, our fingers interlacing perfectly. Ready, Alpha King. Together, we descended to meet our people. The disabled Alpha King had found his strength. The Omega had found her voice. And together, we would build a kingdom worthy of the sacrifices that had brought us here. The old age was dead. The new age had begun. And we would rule it, not through fear or tradition, but through love, partnership, and the unbreakable bond between two souls who'd chosen each other against all odds. Our story wasn't over. It was just beginning.